What's going on, everybody? This is EJ Burt hosting the next episode of Arena Goat Talk, bringing on the legends of this game so they can tell their story, give you some advice along the way. On this episode, we have Mr. Built Ford Tough himself, Mr. Leroy Thompson. What's going on with you, bro?
What's up, EJ, man? Good to be here, man.
Man,
good to be here.
Good to have you on and talking with you. You know how it is. Like, when we play against each other, because me and you played against each other for years, and it's like ain't nobody talk since we get done playing. Ain't nobody, talk to each other in years. You just keep up with each other through Facebook and social media.
Yeah, man, you're right. Just kind of seeing what everybody's doing on a day-to-day, year-to-year, with family and friends and all that. But we never really get down to talking about the real nitty-gritty old days. Of the battles and all that.
And talk about who won that battle that week or whatever the case may be.
Right. Yeah.
So appreciate you coming on. So, today we just, talk about you and find out, where you come from and kind of telling your story. Again, just give us some advice along the way, for cats that's listening and everything. So we'll start out tell us about where you grew up, where you from, kind of lead into college, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. So yeah, I grew up in a place called Camden, New Jersey, down here in South Jersey. It's a place that I hold dear to my heart. You know what I'm saying? Where I believe I learned a lot about getting heart as a young man, as a player, as a kid, as a teenager growing up. You know what I'm saying? Tough city. It's mainly known as the basketball city. DeJuan Wagner, DeJuan Wagner Jr., Milton Wagner, all those guys that played in the NBA. But, as far as the city's concerned, that's where I kind of learned how to get my heart. And my dad was a cop there, so I learned that toughness from that. And then, fortunately, we were able to move from Camden, New Jersey, to Williamstown, which is kind of like 20 minutes out in the suburbs. So it was kind of a lifestyle change for me. I went from the inner city. That's the first time going from the inner city to moving to the suburbs. So it was kind of a change. But they welcomed me with open arms because, in my freshman year in high school, I was 6'2", 180 pounds. So they was happy. Mm-hmm. They was happy to see me walk through the doors. They was like, "Oh, we got a kid from Camden. Oh yeah, we're good." So that's where I believe, honestly, my high school football career started. I was kind of a late bloomer, if you want to call freshman year a late bloomer. I played a little Pop Warner, but I wasn't really into Pop Warner. I was in a lot of other things. I was into music. I was playing instruments and taking piano lessons. I was really into music growing up, even though we kind of played like the street ball on the weekends and all that. But when I got to Williamstown, that's when I kind of really focused and honed in on football. And then my freshman year going forward, that 4 years was really a growing period for me, someone who got started around their freshman year, which is now considered late, as far as developing my game and trying to figure out what I can do with football. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So coming up, like, your whole motivation was kind of like making it in music. Like, what was kind of motivating you, even young and getting into high school? What was kind of your motivation?
So when I was younger, all of my uncles were into music. Or my grandparents, they were into music. My parents were into music. Even though my mom was a nurse and my dad was a cop, they all were into music. So I was like following them. I'm like, okay, learn how to read music, hearing music, learn how to play music, and all the other stuff. And then, but then when I got out of Camden and moved to Williamstown, it was like the music wasn't really there anymore. And the coach was like, yo, if you want to go to college, this is a really good route for you. You got the size and you got all that. So And again, I always loved football. I grew up an Eagles fan. You know, I'm 20 minutes from Lincoln Financial Field. Back then, it was Veterans Stadium. Back when Reggie and Jerome and those guys were playing. So I always grew up with football, but no one ever taught me how to play. You know, back then, you remember back then it was kill the man. You throw the ball up, whoever catch it,
Yep.
you go tackle that guy. So yeah, it was a lot of that. But it wasn't until I got my freshman year in high school when I got around some really good coaches that had some really good insight, and they were like, "Yo, if you do this, you do that, then you can really kind of, if you want to go to college." And mind you, now I was thinking about music. I went in '85. I'm showing my age, but you could tell. You could tell. You could tell I'm a little up there. I stopped dying my joint a long time ago. But but my freshman year, I wasn't thinking about college. I was like, all right, let's play ball. But I got around some really good coaches who had some really good insight and really cared for me. It was like, yo, if you really want to try to get a free ride or free education somewhere, then football is going to be your best bet. And here's the road. And if you follow that road, you know you can make that happen. And obviously, as you know, the road is not always smooth, especially when you come in as a freshman. Now, if you want me to continue, I came in as a freshman. I had fun. Got to know the guys that I came in with, my freshman guys I'm still best friends with to this day. And it was fun freshman year. It was fun. We were killing teams and we were bigger than everybody else. But that sophomore year, when it was like, okay, no more little baby ball. Are you good enough to play varsity, or are you just going to be a JV guy, or are you going to be a varsity / JV guy? What guy are you going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about me, no one ever really, again, I come from a musical family. So no one ever really talked about the grinding for football, getting in the weight room, working out, running, conditioning, learning your trade, getting good at your position. Nobody in my family knew that. My grandfather, 35 years, John Mansville, retired. All my uncles, Navy dudes. My mom's nurse. My dad's a cop, served in Vietnam. Nobody played sports. So everybody was kind of like that working man, blue collar, and that's how I was brought up. So football, the path of football to me was always new. And I'm not going to lie. I had the speed, I had the quickness, I had the agility, but I was not a weight room guy. I just wasn't. And that sophomore year for me, I struggled because of that fact. And looking back, hindsight 2020, if I would have been a weight room guy, I probably have been a lot more further along my sophomore year than I would have been if I did get in the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any players like when you started to hone in on football? Was there like a player that you kind of geared you thought like, this is my role model, this is who I want to be like? Is there anybody like that when you're?
So as far as famous guys, my sophomore years, no. But there was two brothers. They were legit brothers. They might have been twins. Dorrance and Harns Jackson. I'll never forget these dudes. My sophomore year, they might have been seniors, but they were brothers. And even though I was 6'2", they looked ginormous to me. And I don't know where Dorrance went, but I don't know where Harns went. I don't know where Harns went, but I know Dorrance. Excuse me if I get the names mixed up. One of them was a really, really good player. They both were good, but one was really, really good. Got a full ride to West Point. And my sophomore year, I had to sit on the sideline and watch those dudes play. Now I had the JV games, honing my skills. You know how it goes with JV, honing your skills, trying to get better. But on Friday night, you watch those dudes. And I used to watch those dudes, and I'm like, yo, those guys, man, they're big, they're strong, they got the muscles. I know they wasn't born that way. They had to work towards doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were successful on the field. And I know both of them went somewhere, but I know for a fact one ended up going to West Point. And they both ended up having really good high school careers and really good college careers. So those two stood out to me. And then I said to myself, okay, if I want to be like them, then I'm gonna have to start doing some things extra.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when, you know, I tell the guys that I train now, you could say you want to do something, but saying something and doing it is two different things. Yeah, I wanted to be like Dorrance and Horace Jackson, but that summer of my sophomore year, I didn't commit myself to the weight room and football off the field as much as I should have. And it showed up my junior year. Yeah.
So when I was in high school, I always was a linebacker. So I always wanted to be a middle linebacker. That was my dream. And so when I got to high school my freshman year, based on the size of the rest of the team, because I was like 6'2", 170, kind of like you, you know.
Yeah.
And so once I got there, all the linebackers were small. So there's like, we need you on the D-line. Your brother was good there. So they moved me to nose guard. So I was kind of like out of position, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was like, whatever. I needed that to build that toughness.
Mm-hmm.
So with you in high school, where did they have you playing, and do you felt you were kind of out of position, but you learned lessons to build to, you know, where you ended up?
Yeah, that's a great point, because the same thing happened to me. I was at a small school. So again, at 6'2", now I'm probably about 210, 215, maybe 220. And if you're an IMG, you're a linebacker. You're not playing D-line. If you're at Bergen Catholic or one of these other, if you're at Thomas Aquinas, you're not playing DN at 6'2", 230, unless you're a phenom. That's linebacker size. But I had to play O-line, D-line. So, which I liked, because I'm like, okay, I got speed, and I like getting to the quarterback. So on O-line, I played O-tackle, which obviously wasn't it was a position of need, but DN was my spot. And that's where I kind of honed my D-line skills, my pass rush skills, and all that. So I'm just going to ramble on to this story, because I'm going to go through my whole junior year. So now junior year, I'm the starter. All those guys are gone. They graduated. I'm up next. But I still didn't grasp the concept of playing D-line. And that's what I think helps me now coach these guys that I coach and train. So the next progression for me was come off the ball and see where the ball is at. Just kind of watching the play. And EJ, that's not how you play the game. So I would come off the ball and look, where's the ball, and then try to chase. But when I was going against the better guys, I was getting stuck on the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. So this is funny. And I only told a few people this story. But on top of music, I grew up roller skating. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not talking about going to the regular roller skating, just doing 3 hours, doing couples holding hands. I'm talking about roll bounce. I'm talking about ATL, skate group, 4 hours in a row, skate rag, sweating, losing weight every night, skating. Mm-hmm. And everybody knew that. Like we play games on Saturdays. My mom would take us skating to Franklinville skating rink on Sundays, and we rock out. I'd be back at school on Monday. And I was good at it. I'm just saying, I was. So there was one game against Kingsway High School, and I'm going against their best tackle. And I'm coming off the ball, and I'm looking, and next thing you know, I'm 10 yards back that way. I'm going backwards. The ball goes opposite side. I'm going backwards thinking I could chase over the linebackers. Again, not really having the concept. So that Monday, we lost that game, by the way. That Monday, we get in film session. And one of my favorite coaches, Coach Bill Hunt, he's got the film rolling. And he's like, dang, you looking like you at Franklinville on Sunday night, skating backwards. So, and you know when they play the rewind, they hit the two seconds forward, 2 seconds back, 2 seconds forward, 2 seconds back. All right, keep it going. Don't. Why you keep rewinding? Stop it. We get it. I'm going backwards, literally like I'm skating backwards. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, I kind of felt embarrassed. But that night, I realized, because I knew he had the love for me, he wanted me to be a good player. And we had that relationship. He did that on purpose. He did that to kind of embarrass me, to let me know, yo, that's not it. You're better than that. And I'm going to show you in front of all your teammates what you should be doing as a better player. And from that Kingsway game, it might have been like game 3. From that Kingsway game on, my junior year, my whole game changed. My whole game changed. Instead of going backwards, now I'm going this way. Instead of watching the play, not making any plays, I'm making tackles for losses. I'm getting sacks. And then I get the LT poster, the Lawrence Taylor poster on the wall, over my bed. And once I got that over my bed, that was it. And that from that Kingsway game in '88 on, my whole game changed. My whole outlook on football changed. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it always takes a moment like that to kind of wake you up and like, man, I've been BSing this. You know what? We gotta kind of back up.
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want to be known as that dude. Uh-huh. And to this day, I still have oh man, it's crazy. My nickname is Skates. They call me Skates.
And they call me Skates. Every time they say that to you.
Every time they call me Skates, I'm like, yeah, you talking because I knew what I was doing on that roller rink, not because I. Anyway, to this day though, EJ, that's my nickname at Williamstown High School. But that was the turning point. That's the one part of my career that changed me full circle into a player. Yep.
Okay. So, you're going through high school, and so now you're looking at college. So talk about that transition from high school to college and that whole journey.
All right. So after that junior year, I realized, I can do something. I can get money to go to school. I can kind of relieve my parents from paying for me to go to college. I can really kind of do something with this football thing. And went to a couple football camps the summer going into my senior year, got my game better. Started watching videos of Lawrence Taylor because I was kind of that dude. They let me put my hand in the dirt or stand up. And I wore the same jersey number, everything. We got the same initials. I'm Lawrence Taylor. I don't care what nobody else think. I'm the LT out here. I don't care what nobody else think. And then my game started coming together, coming off the edge, started working hands, getting upfield, playing in the backfield and all that. And then my coach came to me and was like, yo, there's some coaches that want to come through to see you for scholarship. I'm like, and again, I don't have an older brother. All this is new to me. So I'm like, okay, so I'm meeting coaches, and it was really kind of what they call it, FCS now. It was really 1AA schools. Maine, Towson State, Delaware State, Morgan State, kind of those schools. But I really started heating up my senior year during the season. And then Coach came through he had just finished leaving Camden High School, which was a powerhouse back in the 80s, football-wise. And somebody told him about me up in Williamstown, 20-minute ride. So at Camden was a 6'5", 275-pound, all-muscle defensive lineman, Arthur Bussey, who played at Camden. They had just left to go see him. So they were about to leave town. They said, well, let's see one more kid. It's like, yo, you need to go to Williamstown, take a look at this kid. So they came up, and that day I happened to be out sick that day. And so they came in, they looked at the film, and it's like, yo, look, remember Levon Kirkland, the outside linebacker from Clemson? That was Levon Kirkland's junior year. So they were like, we're looking for somebody to replace Levon. He kind of fits the mold. I know he never played it, but we might show him how to play outside linebacker, whatever. So and this is the part I really love looking back now and talking to kids I talk to now about grades. Because, again, my whole upbringing was music. It wasn't grades, SAT, ACT, test scores. It was none of that. College prep. It was none of that. So they came in, they saw the film. He's like, oh, man, we love the film. And he looked at my transcripts, and I was kind of like, I was like a 2.8, 2.9 guy. Closer to a B, average. But no one ever prepped me about, in the classroom, moving towards trying to go to college. On the field, they were like, yeah, you need to do this, that, blah, blah, blah. But no one ever told me about what to do in the classroom. And then sometimes, EJ, guys find out too late. And then it's like, it's too late. So Clemson was like, and back then they had Proposition 48, which is way different now. But back then, if you didn't have both the grade point average or the test scores, you couldn't play.
I was that.
Yeah, you had to sit out your first year, lose a year of eligibility. Mm-hmm. Then, if you did okay in the classroom, at least a 2.0 in college, then you can come back and get your scholarship. I was one of those guys, which was cool because I didn't know the game back then. But Towson was in the mix. Clemson fell off because Bussey was their last Prop 48 guy they were signing. So I ended up missing out on that. But when you miss out on something, I learned when you miss out on something, the next thing could be the best thing. Mm-hmm. So Del State came through. They said, "Look, we're gonna give you a full ride. You're gonna be a Prop 48. You're gonna have to sit, but we're gonna give you money to come down here. You come down here, get your grades right, and you'll have a full ride your sophomore year." And I went to visit Towson. I went to visit Maine, and I visited Delaware State. Now, Del State was the only HBCU out of those two. Mm-hmm. I went down on a visit. And my dad at the time, he was like, "You want me to go with you? You want to take my car?" I said, let me go down by myself. And my host was Rod Milstead. At the time, he was a junior. Milstead ended up getting drafted by the Dallas Cowboys offensive guard. He got drafted by Bill Belichick at Cleveland, and then they traded him in the 5th round to the Cowboys. Played a couple years with the Cowboys. Went to the 49ers and won a Super Bowl in '94 with Dion and them in San Francisco. He was my host. Went down there. He took me. I'm giving you the story now. They gave him $20 to take me over to Ponderosa, across the Highway 13. All you can eat salad bar.
You're on top of the world.
Yo, I'm like
this whole time?
All you can eat wings? What? I'm like, yo. All you can eat salad? Oh, you can drink soda? Oh, I'm like, yo, I'm living. So I had the option to either stay or go home.
Mm-hmm.
So I called my dad. I said, you need the car back? He's like, yo, stay down there. Man, that night, they took me out. I got a chance to meet a bunch of the other players. They embraced me. We went over to the student center. We had a good time. I really had a chance to live the college life and understand other guys were down there already doing what I was looking forward to do, and they enjoyed it, and it was like a brotherhood. And the next day, I went to Coach Collins, my head coach. I said, Coach, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm here. I said, let's get it going. And so my recruiting was a little different than what guys are going through now, with being able to visit 8 schools, 5 schools, driving here, flying there, da da da. Mine was kind of short and sweet, which I'm glad it went that way, because it kind of parallels with my high school career. Being a late bloomer, I'm kind of glad I found a home early. I found some guys that I liked and kind of connected with early at Dell State. That way I can just get the ball rolling, get the college paperwork going, get the admission stuff going, and then get my college career going on that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're through college now. So you're about to graduate. What does your pro prospects look like, and how did you kind of end up in Arena?
So again, I had to sit out that freshman year. Sophomore year, we were stacked. We were one of the top, even though we're HBCU, we were one of the top 25, top 20 Division I AA schools in the country. We led 1AA in rushing. We were stacked across the board. We had some dudes. 91 was my best year. We won the MEAC championship in 91. We won in 89. I didn't play that year. We won it 90 and 91. In 91, we were co-champions to North Carolina A&T and one of your old teammates. But we're gonna touch that. We're gonna touch on that down the road. But 91 was my year. 16 sacks in one season, 5 in one game, twice. Won that year. Because there was some older guys, Robert Porcher, that was their senior year from South Carolina State. So I ended up being second team all MEAC, but to this day I still hold all the sack records at Dell State. That was my year, and that's when I started opening eyes. My senior year, 11, I had 11, which is still good. First team Kodak All-American, left end. Michael Strahan was first team right end. Mm-hmm. I'm pumped. But again, Black College All-American, I'm All-American everything. But Mike is 6'5", 270, and I'm 6'3", still 235. Mm-hmm. I didn't go as hard as I should have in the weight room in college. So they labeled me by my senior year as a tweener. He's a DN that should be a linebacker. He's a linebacker that should be whatever. So, I got caught in that mix. Even though I had the numbers, even though I had the playing style, I got caught in that mix. And I believe, and I'll say it on my chest, I signed with the wrong agent. I went instead of going my heart, I went with somebody else's opinion, and ended up not getting drafted. The agent that everyone said I should have went with, as soon as I didn't get drafted, I signed with him, and then I ended up signing with the Toronto Argonauts coming out of college. Mm-hmm. So, and that's when my whole pro path started. So again, I didn't take it at that point. I still didn't take it as serious as I thought I should have. And now I can look back and say to guys that I trained, guys who are in the same position, didn't get drafted, going to the UFL, going to the CFL, going to the AFL. Now I got that wisdom. Bro, if you're going to AFL, CFL, UFL, treat it like it's the NFL. Because if you fail there, it's going to be hard for you to try to get where you want to be. So I went to the CFL, wasn't ready, got sent home after the first cut. So I'm up in Toronto. And I flew to Toronto, but my girlfriend at the time got a rental car. She flew up there and we drove back. So on the way back, my agent says, hey, I want you to stop in Albany, New York on your way back. I'm like, what's in Albany? He said, there's an arena football team that I'm connected with. I want you to try out for. So I'm like, arena? I'm like, what's arena? He's like, it's an indoor football league. He's like, trust me, I got you. You can do that until, you try to work your way back. So I'm like, okay, Warren Schmidt. I still talk to Warren to this day.
Hey,
Still,
your
huh?
story sounds so familiar to mine. Warren was my agent.
Warren Schmidt, Pro Star.
And Paul Sheehy.
Arizona and Philly.
Everything you saying, it's like, man, your story is so
Arizona and Philly. I still talk to Warren to this day. Warren's my guy. If Warren got some guys that are local that need working out before they go to camp or whatever, Warren's my guy. Yeah, Warren's my guy. Shout out to Warren Schmidt. What up, Warren? So Warren's like, yo, go here and do a 2-day. So I'm like, all right, I go in there again. I'm 230, 240. They sent me in a 2-day tryout, linebacker. So I'm like, I never played linebacker, but all right, what I need to do? Just rush and get to the bag. Mind you, the fullback I'm going against, what was his name? Mike. The name will come to me. He ended up leaving the Albany Firebirds and going to the Chicago Bears. Mike something. Somebody else will pop it. Somebody will bring it up. Anyway, he's at fullback.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, he's rocked up. He's 6'3", 6'2", 260, solid. I'm coming downhill. He won 2, I won 2, whatever. Then they said, okay, switch.
Now you got to block.
Now they put me at fullback and put Mike at, his name's going to come. They put Mike at linebacker. Now, if you remember Coach Daly,
mm-hmm.
Daly wasn't the finesse guy. If you play a linebacker, you run right down the middle. Ain't no finesse, ain't no swim outside, inside. You run through his chest. Mike came down and put me on my back twice. Hey. Daly and you had Homesy on your show, right?
Uh-huh.
Homesy was there at the time. Homesy was the offensive coordinator. Or Homesy, I think, was the head coach at the time. I think Daly was the OC at that time. Homesy pulled me in the office. No, Homesy, they wasn't in the office. We were up in Vermont. We stopped in Vermont. He said, yeah, you're not quite ready yet, but let's stay in touch. Now, in 48 hours, I've been cut by 2 different teams in 2 different leagues. So I come back home. You want the long for? You want me to keep going?
It's telling your story. So go ahead.
Well, that was my first stint coming out of college.
Okay.
That was my first stint coming out of college.
So
at that point now I'm home, working at my godfather's liquor store, making cash under the table. I hope this don't get out. Trying to figure out which direction my life's gonna go in. Knowing I can play, confidence just a little down. Everybody telling me, dog, you was an All-American. Dog, you had 16 sacks. Dog, you can play. You just need to figure it out. So now I'm back home, living with my pops, which was a blessing, trying to figure out life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So talk about what got you to the point where you became, what is it, Ford built the Ford built tough man of the year. Like,
yeah.
What got you to that point where it's like, boom, I'm here now. All right, let's rock. Like,
yeah. All right. So I already got cut once from the Arena League. So now I'm like, dang, can I play? What's going on? Like, I know I can play. Like, what's going on? Like, what's missing? Is it wrong representation? Like I don't know. I'm trying to figure things out. And while I'm home now, obviously I'm trying to figure out if ball's my life. I'm hanging out. I'm in Philly on South Street, hanging out with Lester Holmes, who played at Jackson State, who got drafted in the first round by the Eagles, who I played against, who I learned, we was a Black College All-American together. Me and him got to know each other before he got drafted. So I'm hanging out with the Eagles, but I'm not an Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're getting VIP treatment, but I'm not. I'm with them, but I'm not with them.
Yes.
These guys are working every day. They're in the gym. They're doing it. So seeing that, and there was a cop buddy of my dad's. His name is George Joyner. Mr. Joyner, shout out to Mr. Joyner. I'm going to make sure he sees this too. He's still living. He's down in North Carolina. And his sons played with my cousin. They were a year younger than me. And all of them went into working out, training, karate, and all that. And they built a substation around the corner from my grandmother's house. So when I would go to my grandmother's house, I would go and see Mr. Joyner. And Mr. Joyner was always the voice when I would be like, I don't know. He'd be like, why not? They just drafted this guy to Duke first round. Your stats were better than him. Why can't you be over there? Mm-hmm. And he would always, now he was a cop, he was a policeman, but he was into athletics. He was into training, he was into football and all that. And every day, like, come by. And he'd show me stats of another dude that got drafted. Like, this guy can't hold a torch to you. So he was like, this is what I'm going to do. Do this workout program. He put a workout program for me. He said, give me all your film. He took all my takes, put a highlight film together. He went, did they have the internet back in early 90s? I don't know how he got my stats. Printed all my stats out. Mm-hmm. Put a manila envelope together. Tape, resume. Said, I want you to take this and go over to Veterans Stadium and take it to Ray Rhodes. Ray Rhodes is the new in 96. Mm-hmm. Now, this was between 94 and 96. I hadn't played anywhere. I'm home. So he said, I want you to take this over there. So I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, take it over there and show him the tape. So I'm like, oh, okay. I go over there. They got security everywhere. Nobody stops me. I go in, I park. I stand in front of the front door. Security's over there. He's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm waiting on Coach Rhodes to get here. All right, cool. Coach Rhodes pulls up. Cadillac pulls the first coach's parking spot. Hey, how you doing, man? Good. I'm Leroy Thompson. Played at Delaware State. Here's my film and resume. All right. He was like, all right. He was like, all right, come back tomorrow. All right. Come back the next day. What's up, coach? Bam. Oh, man, I got a meeting. All right, come back tomorrow. So I come back the next morning. He don't pull up. So I'm like, all right. So I go. I'm driving around for a few hours. I'll get some lunch. I come back. So let me come back around 12. Come back at 12. Here he comes with all the coaching staff from lunch. So now I got it. He's like, all right, let's go. Get on the elevator. So we get on the elevator. I go up to his office to put the tape in. He said, all right, you can play a little bit. He's like, but you got some film from arena, like playing fullback. Like, what are you going, your fullback or what? Like, what are you? He's like, I'm a linebacker. He said, all right, well, look, we got mini camp. We got mini camp coming up. Passing camp, they used to call it. Remember that?
Yeah.
Passing camp, where they can bring guys in unsigned. So I go into passing camp, and I'm with the linebackers. So I'm doing never back pedal in my life. I'm doing back pedal drills. First day, I'm wobbling, I'm tripping over. I got a different agent, but Marvin, I forget his last name, but him and Ray Rhodes were college teammates. So first day I'm stumbling and bumbling. Second day, I'm looking a little smoother. It's working out. Third day, I'm looking like an NFL linebacker in individuals. I'm breaking on the ball, I'm getting it, and I'm backing up the last rep. I break on the ball, and I feel a pop in my calf muscle. So I'm like, oh, no, please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. So they were like, oh, next drill, one-on-ones. I'm like, all right. So now I'm going against Charlie Garner, Jason Dunn, second-round draft pick tight end. Charlie Garner, speedster, running back out of Tennessee. I'm up. I'm hobbling. I'm trying to. Long story short, we get to the meetings that night, and Emmett Thomas, longtime defensive coordinator, he might still be with the Chiefs, or he might have retired. He said, "Leroy, man, we like you, but we just can't get no film on you if you're hurt. So we're gonna let you go." So I was like, yeah, Coach, I understand, but can I keep this Eagles sweatsuit? Because I'm an Eagles fan. Yo, I'm an Eagles fan. Can I keep this Eagles sweatsuit? That was the end of my NFL career. But I went home, and then during that time, the Albany Firebirds were on fire. And they had this fullback linebacker, Jim Kitts, was a rocked up dude from somewhere in Maryland. I don't know. He was rocked up. And I got a call from Daly. Now Daly's the head coach. Daly's like, yo, remember Jim Kitts? Yeah. He just got picked up by the Redskins. We need somebody right now. Come up for a 2-day. So I'm like, all right, good. Now, here's the difference between the first time I got cut and the second time I went up to Albany. Might have been the third time. I go to Albany this time. Mr. Joyner put me on creatine, put me on a workout program. I'm 255 all muscle. I'm rocked up. I'm doing conditioning out the park. I'm doing hundreds for no reason. I go from the Nas low cut fade to the big afro, nappy afro. So now I go up to Albany. They're like, Big Kyle, I remember to this day, Big Kyle was like, oh, he's back. Big Kyle Moore Brown. He was like, oh, he's back. Because, he's a Jersey guy. And he was sad to see me get cut. He was like, oh, he's back. Didn't lose one-on-one. Both sides. That's on defense and offense. That's June 96. And I played arena football from June 1996 to June 2008. 13 years straight, no break. So what's the premise of my story? Yo, if you got confidence in yourself and you know you can play, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. That's my story. That's how I got in the Arena League.
Yeah. So what did it feel like? Explain the Built for Tough Award. Or the tough
Okay, so I'm gonna explain that. So it took a lot of years to get to that level of play. I came in 96. I won that award in 2002. So it took 6 years to build up to that point. It took 6 years of learning how to play the game. It took 6 years of learning how to be a pro. And it wasn't until we won it in 99. Remember that year?
Yeah, y'all had that was touchdown Eddie Brown.
99. You remember that year? Hey, look, don't be mad, man. Y'all won the year before and the year after. Damn. Anyway, so yeah. So after that year, we played the 2000 year, and then the team left Albany and went to Indianapolis. And then we turned into the Indiana Firebirds. So luckily, I went out there. I was fortunate to go out there, and a couple of my teammates went out there And one of my best teammates and one of my really good friends to this day, Chris Snyder, ended up going out there and planting his roots out there. Snyder was our D tackle, played at Penn State. He was younger than us.
Snyder.
Snyder.
I remember Snyder. Didn't he end up doing like race car or something?
He trains pit crews now.
I remember him.
Yeah. So that's what he started doing when we went to Indy. He got on with that on the off season. So in the off season, I ended up staying out there in the off season. He was like, dude, let's train together. I'm like, all right. Now, he played under Joe Paterno, those guys. His degree was sports science. Excuse me. So he was into training, lifting, and all the science part of working out and all that stuff. That's how he was so successful with the pit crews. So me and him would train every day in 2001 off season. We went crazy every day. Yo, if you're drinking, stop it. If you're smoking cigars, if you're smoking, I don't smoke anything. Cigars every now and then. You can blurt that out. But other than that, that was it. All that, stop it for 4 months. Don't do none of it. Go on a diet, no sugar. That's the hardest I've ever trained in my life. Now, you're talking about being locked in as a pro. That was my first year ever being totally locked in as a pro. And that was the year he made All-Arena first team, and I made All-Arena first team. And I was killing it. That more at fullback than linebacker. Even I think I had like 5 or 6 sacks at the linebacker spots. But I had like 14 rushing touchdowns. And I had like almost 200 yards rushing, which is like 2,000 yards rushing in the NFL. Now, I went crazy that year, all because of Chris Snyder just saying, yo, this is what we're going to do. The gym was literally right around the corner from my house. And he would train the pit crews, and then he and I would train, and then he would train the pit crews after us. And we were doing some insane stuff. I mean, we were doing crazy stuff on the treadmill, on the weights, medicine ball stuff I've never done before. And yeah, so when the season came, it was like butter to me. It was like I was in control of every game. I was in control of every rep in the game, and it just flowed. Mm-hmm. And I honestly believe that is the sole reason why I ended up getting the Ford Tough. Now, I wasn't expecting. I didn't even know anything about the Built Ford Tough award. For people who don't know, at the time, the Arena League was sponsored by Ford, right? Mm-hmm. Ford and ADT, the security company. And at the end of every season, Ford would nominate the best two-way player in the Arena Football League. And it wasn't always necessarily a receiver, DB. Sometimes it would be a lineman that went both ways. And in my case, I was a linebacker that played fullback. And I was fortunate enough to win that award. And with that award, you got a big, heavy plaque that was remnants of a metal mud flap. And then you got your name on Built Ford Tough Man of the Year, Leroy Thompson. And on top of that, they gave you a Ford pickup truck for free.
I remember that when I got Lineman of the Year in the Deuce, the guy I can't remember his name, but he got the Built Ford Tough Award, and he got a truck. And I'm looking at my award. I'm like, man, I want. I was like, I'll trade you. I had a little crystal thing. I was cool. He was like, yeah, I get a truck. I'm like, man, can we switch?
I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Gary Compton, who ended up being a teammate of mine in Indiana. Gary Compton won it the year before me. So when he went to get his truck, they said, yo, you got an unlimited budget. Get the truck you want. So he got a Ford Dually with the big tires, the big boy, like construction workers use. Ended up tapping out at 60 grand. The following year when I won it, they said, yo, your limit's 30 grand. That's all you got. That's all you got. So I ended up getting the Harley Davidson Ford pickup, black joint with the chrome rims. Took it off the lot, had like 80 miles on it. Yeah, it was a blessing, man. But we talk about this to this day. There's no way I get to that level without Chris Snyder. We kept each other accountable, and that's the one year. I mean, some other years too, but that's really the year that I went crazy. Just wasn't doing nothing, sleep, making sure I'm getting enough sleep. I was taking care of my body, in the gym every day, Monday through Friday, doing the extras, doing pool work, and that's how it happened.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
So I want to put up a video, and sure enough, it's against the Preds. But I want you to kind of break down. It's you breaking the huddle and you getting a toss sweep. So I want you to kind of break down.
Oh, it's my favorite play. It's one of my favorite plays.
you breaking the huddle. What's on your mind when you about to get that ball?
Let's go with it. Hold on. Now, can you rewind? Can you rewind or no?
There you go.
All right, stop it. All right, so toss crack left, okay? One of my favorite plays. Way different than regular toss left. Toss left, if you got an end like yourself that can play the reach block, I'm probably not going to get out to that edge, all right? Probably not going to the edge. But if you add a crack to that, yes, you put a receiver in that slot to crack down on that. Now it's me against a DB. One of my favorite plays. But here's the funniest thing. Mike Pulowski, number 9, our quarterback. If you got sound, so funny, and no one else will pick up on this. As he's walking to the line, he'll look back and say, secure it. Meaning, don't you dare fumble this ball in this arena championship game. Bro, you didn't have to say that. I know what I need to do. But peep that getting to the line. And then stop it when you get to the line. He's walking up. Secure it. So now, we get up there. Now, I'm looking at the receiver over Hopkins, okay? But Hopkins is going to come down on that end. So now I know if I want to get any yardage or any mileage out of this, that DB over Hopkins, I got to at least get by him. If I can get by him, then maybe I can get a touchdown or at least a first down or some yardage. All right? So, and I don't know if is that B-Wags? I don't know who that is. Is that Kenny?
I think that's K-Mac.
That's K-Mac? All right. Boom. Stop right there. All right, stop. All right. So, the motion guy, that might have been Eddie. Eddie came down on Kenny. So now we got the edge secure. Wags tried to come over, but he's late. And guess who's left? Me and your boy D. Mason. Me and your boy D. Mason. So I've always known D. Mason likes to go low. D. Mason always wants to go low on the fullback. That's why I heard him. But I don't know. Now looking back, I probably should have went low. But if I went low, I probably wouldn't have got it. I still probably wouldn't have got it unless I kind of bear crawled. But this was the best play at the right time. We got the crack on the end. The receiver comes down on Kenny Mack. B Wags is late because he got to sift through the trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get there. Now, the next play, they don't go to me.
Yeah, I only got this one. I only got this one on
Nah,
here.
they didn't go to me. But I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, now we got the replay in slow motion. Boom, you got the edge secure. That's Wags. He misses. That's D Mason. And then who's that? Oh no, I'm sorry. I don't know who that DB is.
The first one I think was K Mac.
That's K Mac. Mason came over with his neck. Yeah, I kind of rung that thing. He was a little shook up after that. He was a little shook up. But I should have gotten the zone on that. But that was a good play by Kenny Mack. I mean, by D Mace, making sure I didn't get in.
You know, Mace a hitter.
Oh yeah, we talk about this play all the time. we talk about this play all the time. But that was one of my moments where I'm gonna be honest. I had to learn to love to play the offensive side of the ball because I've always been a defensive guy. Mm-hmm. And it took me some years to adjust to that side of the ball. I remember my first camp when they was running tosses and I was fumbling the toss. And, simple stuff. And Coach Daly said, if you fumble that toss one more time, you out of here. So what I would do is I would take like 5 minutes after practice and I would do like 10 tosses each way, half speed. Boom, go, bam, 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 other way, bam, bam, bam. Because I knew the only way I was going to make this team is to be able to play both ways. And if I can't play offense, I wasn't going to play defense. And then I learned how to become a good fullback in that league. I never played that position in my life. But, credit to my teammates, credit to the coaching staff, Mike Hohensee and Daly and Ed Hotchkiss and all those dudes that, just kept saying, yo, hang in there with him. He'll get it. And I got it.
So back then, you tell me if this was true or not. Everybody used to say you had a Nike contract on some shoes. Was that true?
Nah, get out of here. Nobody said that.
I swear. That's what I heard for at least 2 years about you. And it was like you the only cat in the arena with your own shoe contract or whatever. Like they used to give you free shoes. I swear to God, that's what I knew for at least 2 years about you.
Really? Nah, hey, bro. if I was getting free stuff from Nike, I ain't never get a check.
I swear to God, that's I'm telling you, that's what Cash used to tell me. And I wasn't out there talking to people like that. I was just like, cool. That's inspiration. I want to try to get a contract too, but ain't nobody handing me the ball. I ain't want to be running back or whatever. But I was like, man, then that means it can be done. I want to see if I can get something.
Wow, nah, yo, I've never heard that. Well, yo, let's keep that rumor going. Yeah, I did. I did have a contract. Always kept a fresh pair of high 3/4 tops.
So, all right. So, let's get into what you're doing now. So, I know you. I got a little video for that too.
Okay.
So, I know you're doing your thing with the training. So,
yeah, man,
dig into that.
Yeah, that's my guy right there, Taiwan Malone. He's a D tackle at Ohio State. Started training him when he was a sophomore in high school at Bergen Catholic here in Jersey. So I've always been around ball. I've always been around training guys and kind of half kind of part-time, kind of half doing it. But the pandemic year, I really got into it. And he was my Taiwan. That's a good video you got because Taiwan was my first real client. And he and his dad, Taiwan Senior, and I are good friends. And my nephew at the time was playing at Bergen Catholic. So Taiwan Senior went to my cousin and was like, yo, I need somebody that can work with Taiwan on his defensive line skills. So he was like, just get with Leroy. So remember, during the pandemic, nothing was open. No one was training. No gyms were open. Most of the parks weren't open. But Taiwan was willing to get with me, and we found a park, and we would just get busy. And then one day, we took video of that session, and I posted it on Twitter. And the next day, I woke up the next day, I had like 200 messages in my inbox of just parents and players wanting to, where you training at? I see you. And Taiwan ended up being an Under Armour All-American. He's a baseball player and a football player. He went to Ole Miss on a full ride, then transferred to Ohio State. But he was the number one player in New Jersey at that time. And everybody wanted to know, where you, who are you? Where you at? I want to get my son in, da-da-da. And then the business kind of took off from there, from Taiwan. So, yeah, man. So now I got my own company. It's Complete Players. You see the bullseye on the quarterback like the old Public Enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the old Public Enemy emblem is, instead of the B-boy in the middle, you got the quarterback in the middle. And now I'm just training D linemen, man. And I do a lot of traveling. I'm mainly the tri-state area, North Jersey, Central Jersey, South Jersey, PA, a little bit of Delaware, a little bit of New York. But I travel up and down the turnpike training dudes. And, man, it's been a blessing. I've been able to touch a lot of guys, man, a lot of guys that are now, either on their last year in college or entering the NFL draft. So it was good. I didn't spend a lot of time with this guy, but I had a chance to train some guys at Timber Creek High School when I first moved back to Jersey. Jahad Campbell, who went first round from Alabama with the Eagles. He was a DN back then. Had a chance to train him. Sadir Mitchell, big D tackle out of Bergen Catholic. He's at LSU now. DJ Samuels, outside linebacker DNs at Maryland. I can go down a list of names, man. Jaden Jenkins, who transferred from Tennessee, now is at Florida State. And forgive me and the other guys I haven't, but Tyler Booker, who's the first O-lineman, the offensive guard that the Dallas Cowboys drafted. I trained him when he was at Bergen. So it's given me the opportunity to be with and train a lot of guys. And I'm just proud of the work I've done. And look, all these guys wanted it. And that's why I say all the kids that I train now, all these guys that are D1 in the NFL now, they wanted it. They begged their parents. They asked their parents, can we go and get some extra work? They didn't have to get pushed. They didn't have to get woken up. They were chomping at the bit to get the extra work, whether it was with me or somebody else or whoever. And that's why these guys are where they are now. But, yeah, man, I'm busy, man. On the weekends, I get no sleep. So, but I love it. You know what I mean? I get a chance, again, to help guys fulfill their dreams.
Yeah. So somebody's interested. How can they find out or, contact you?
So they can catch me on Instagram. Oh, man, my phone's about to die. That's bad by me. That's bad coaching by me. Coach_LT33 on Instagram. That's how you can get me. That's the best way to get me. Just send me a DM.
Any advice that you want to give to, cats that's nowadays that's still trying to play?
Yeah, I come across a lot of guys who are just kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do. Guys that with no more eligibility, guys that got cut from different leagues and all that. And all I say is, if you got the confidence in yourself to be able to play, if you got some representation or you got a contact where you can still get in a league, any league, and you can do it, go ahead and do it. All right. I got a kid now, Albert Curran. He's playing for Shreveport. I trained this kid back in, I can't even remember how long ago he was in high school. And the kid just never gave up. Went to college, blew his knee out twice. Going to this combine, going to that combine. And he was like, Coach, tried out for the Philadelphia Soul for their open tryouts, didn't make it. Now, he got his degree. Now he's down in Shreveport. He's a DB, and he's balling. He's living his dream.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you still in it and you got confidence in yourself and determination, you got a chance. Look, the Arena League for me was my NFL. I spent 13 years of my life in that league. Did I get a call? No. Did I, and that's what it was. They got other guys get calls? Yeah. But that was my deal. And I looked at it and I took it that way because I finally got confidence in my game. I finally got confidence in myself. The biggest thing I learned about young guys is having confidence in their game, EJ. They may have the ability, but if they got knocked down once, they got cut twice, or somebody said, yo, you need to be doing this instead of doing that, a lot of times the young guys will be like, okay, probably not for me. You be the determination of when you're done. If I would have been done when I got cut by Toronto, I might have been regretting it. Mm-hmm. If I was done when I stopped in Vermont to work out for the Albany Firebirds, if I said I was done, I might have been regretting it. If I said I was done when I got cut by the Eagles, I might have been regretting it. But I didn't say I was done. And when the call came, I was ready, and I had a nice run. Won the Arena Bowl, played in the second, coached in the Arena League, coached in the NFL. I'm coaching NFL guys. I'm training NFL guys. I'm training high level and developmental high school guys. I got D1 college guys. But if I would have said, okay, I'm not good enough, have faith in yourself. Have confidence. Whatever you did, that's a blue flag or green flag in your hat from what you've done football wise. That's your claim to fame. Don't try to be like nobody else. You're only you. That's what you bring to the table. Take that to the maximum.
Mm-hmm. All right. Appreciate you coming on, sharing your story and giving out some tips. It's always cool kicking it with you and talking, reminiscing, and talking to you now. I realized, man, half the stuff you mentioned is like, man, it's like you telling my story because you talk about, even as far as you being 6'2", 180 in like your freshman year, that was me because I was like 6'2", 170 in middle school. And then you talked about, being with Warren Schmidt and all them, like that was me. And then when I was coming out of college, NFL kept calling me a tweener. That was me. Yeah. And just talking with you now, I'm like, man, your story is so close to mine. It's crazy.
Yo, man, your story, my story, and a lot of guys' stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I love this podcast. That's why I wanted to get on, because there's going to be some guys that's coming up that's going to go through the same thing.
Yes,
and they're going to be able to look at this video and be like, okay, I'm not the only one. I'm not singled out. This is how it is, and this is how you overcome. So that's why I hopped on, man. It's been a pleasure. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't know if the audience knows, but this guy right here, I used to hate playing Orlando. Him and all the other dudes down there. E.J. Burke, B.J. Cohen, Ernest Allen, Tommy Davis, Rich McKenzie. We used to hate playing these dudes. So this dude E.J. was a dog. I just put that out there. All of them could rush.
Appreciate it. Respect, because at the same time, knowing when you get the ball in your hands, the one person ain't bringing you down.
Yeah, man. Those were the days, man. Those were the days.
So I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you, bro.
And good luck with everything. And
man,
we always gonna be talking.
Yeah, stay in touch.
All right, we'll do.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Salute.